Throughout my many years as an anime fan, there's been few games I've been quite as curious about as the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series. Not only are these games consistently listed as some of the best anime titles, but because, as a DBZ fan, Naruto is an anime that I've always wanted to better familiarize myself with. And this YouTube channel has only accelerated that intrigue. You see, as a 90s kid who lived through the Dragon Ball Z Western World Uprising, I had played every DBZ game and rewatched the show countless times before Naruto even hit America. And while I've always thought the concept of Naruto was a bit more complex than DBZ, and I've always loved the Chunin exam arc, I still had a massive bias that no matter what, DBZ is still the GOAT. Don't get me wrong, I'll never switch up. Dragon Ball is my favorite anime. Still, I've always wanted to learn a bit more about this spiky-haired yellow ninja. That being the case, before starting the Storm series, I decided that while reviewing the game as usual, I'd also treat this like an experiment to see if a Dragon Ball fan like myself can learn a bit more about the Naruto universe, to get an in-depth look at why the Storm games became so popular, how well it holds up today, and of course, my overall opinion on the game 16 years later. Now I have to admit, when first beginning this title, I was expecting a bit more of the same, as the other games I've played, namely the Clash of Ninja series, limit themselves to mostly one-on-one battles, and although were a ton of fun to play, certainly show their age. However, Ultimate Ninja Storm captivated me from the very beginning, for two major reasons. Firstly, Ultimate Ninja Storm looks beautiful. I know, I've said that about plenty of 2000s era games, but wow, there were times where I genuinely forgot I was playing a game from the better half of 2 decades ago. In-game graphics are absolutely phenomenal for their time. The ultimate attacks, oh my god, they blew me away. But neither of these aspects hold a candle to the cutscenes. This game released in 2008, I had to fact check myself on that one. However, while these undoubtedly held up, unfortunately these cutscenes are still few and far between, to the point where I didn't realize the game had cutscenes till about 6 hours in, only appearing for the most important battles like the Gaara fight and the Sasuke showdown, basically the final battles in each respective arc. Although, trust me, I would have loved to see more. I still can't hate on this, because it made these particular engagements feel even more hype, and it truly shined a light on just how pivotal these moments were. But if I had to take a guess, it probably took this route because, well, the game was already massive, which is the second factor that captivated me right from the jump. You see, while preparing myself for this game, I naively thought that Storm 1 would take me through Part 1 of Naruto, but only battle to battle, so you can imagine the surprised Pikachu look on my face when I was thrust into none other than the Hidden Leaf Village, which functions as the hub of the game. And oh man, when I say there's a lot to do here, there is a lot to do here. And the game rightfully wants to make sure you take your sweet time exploring. You see, instead of breezing through the story like many games prior, each story-based mission will initially be locked, acquiring mission XP to advance the plot of the original anime. But how the hell would I get mission XP if I can't play the missions? Well, that's simple. Kinda. Aside from main missions, the game also features a plethora of side missions, which can be acquired from speaking to a mission information character. These missions will then be found in your start menu's mission list, where you can cycle through them freely as they become unlocked. These will be listed by rank, D being the easiest and S being the absolute pain in the ass. But that being said, although the hub is fairly large, locating all these missions is pretty easy. That's because as these mission characters populate, your handy dandy minimap will show you exactly where to find them based on your location, giving you a specific symbol per them which correlates with the legend on the minimap. I mean, damn, this is pretty thorough. I was still using MapQuest back in 08, and as you can see, there's more than just side missions here, most of these being collectible items, which there is admittedly at times an overwhelming amount of. My personal favorite being ingredients, which can usually be found in harder to reach places, like behind a locked door. Once acquired, you can bring these ingredients to none other than the Ichiraku Ramen shop, place even the most casual of fans like myself are well familiar with. Once you hand these ingredients to our boy, we'll unlock a variety of ramen types, and perhaps most importantly, increasing the max capacity of your chakra meter, which I found super useful and also enjoyable to do. Sometimes you have to think outside the box to obtain these though, by utilizing the game's many ways to navigate the hub, like running up walls, wall jumping like Mario, jumping from rope to rope, and the most unique of which, Naruto Cannon, which will launch you well across the map. So far in fact, that with a bit of platforming and get to the top of the extremely high building in the center. I didn't think that was possible. Like ingredients, treasure boxes can also be found in a variety of places, typically unlocking a specific character's ninja handbook, which in turn allows you to utilize a new jutsu only for the specific character hidden mentioned. Secret scrolls will unlock a new jutsu, this time utilized only for support characters, of which you can take up to 2 with you in certain battles. You can select and customize these support characters, utilizing any of the jutsus and characters you've unlocked. I found these perfect to get out of some sticky situations, to catch your ass mid-fall, or to carry out that combo by delivering an additional blow on the enemy. If the support character's attack hits, it will not only distract, but also knock back the opponent, leaving you on the offense once again, giving you the option to utilize any number of your attacks. You've got a lot of options here. That being said, while I clearly love this combat system, it did take a while for me to come to that realization. Reason being, I've become most acquainted and comfortable with the structure of DBZ-like fighters. However, many times in these Naruto games, the enemy will appear in the forefront, while you're way in the back, which took me a while to get used to. Honestly, does feel a bit more realistic in a sense. While in battle, you can also utilize a large variety of combos to keep the game feeling fresh. Catch an enemy off guard with a throw, or even hit opponents while they're knocked on the ground. That is, if you're quick like that. And let's not forget my favorite, substitution jutsus, which can be used by blocking at the exact moment your opponent attempts to land or strike. If timed appropriately, you will teleport behind the enemy, granting you the opportunity to catch their ass off guard and land some devastating combos. Honestly, it just feels so damn good pulling these off, especially if you double down and the enemy sub-jutsus behind you and then you sub-jutsu behind them. It's just so fire. And of course, every character also comes equipped with a solid amount of unique jutsus, functioning as the game's super attack, some of which can be interchanged and set specifically for battle, each being well choreographed and feel amazing when making contact with the opponent. Although it's tough to decide given there were so many cool ones, my favorite of these are mostly the charge-based attacks, meaning Rasengan, Chidori, Lightning Blade. These particular attacks have some incredible range, capable of being charged and landing from across the entirety of the arena. That's gotta hurt. To get the most out of these, it's wise to first transform into your awakened state, which will be available for certain characters at different points in your playthrough, specifically when this lamp-like symbol is shown next to your chakra gauge. When available, you can charge up past your normal chakra maximum, thus entering your character's unique form. Oftentimes, these transformations don't really change the look of the character much, instead boosting your strength, speed, and additional stats, which in turn makes your character an absolute unit. But although these were all fun to use, characters like Naruto, Sasuke, and my boy Rock Lee definitely have an edge. That's because this form not only changes their stats, but completely transforms them, changing their supers and even their ultimate attacks. Like Naruto's Demon Fox form, which granted is only the one tail, but still has some badass attacks and combinations. Especially his enhanced new ultimate, Vermilion Rasengan, which is much more powerful and just so much cooler. I mean, at least in my opinion. In contrast, Sasuke and Kimimaro both have their advanced curse mark, which is pretty sick as well. You know, I took the opportunity during some late game side quests to use these characters and absolutely stomp the opposition. Although these handful of characters are all very fun to use, Guy Sensei and my boy the Handsome Devil of the Leaf Village are my absolute favorites. Opening the gates is so dope in every Naruto game I've played. I just love zipping and zooming around the stage, hitting ninja up with the Hidden Lotus, which is probably my favorite attack in the entirety of Naruto, at least that I've seen so far. I'm such a fan, in fact. I was quite surprised we couldn't use this form in the fight against Gaara. I mean, what the hell? In hindsight, maybe we could, I just didn't know how to use it back then. Regardless, you should probably start the fight with it. In fact, you can't freely utilize any of these transformations until completing the entirety of the campaign. And given you have to grind side missions for, is no easy task. I clocked in about 15 hours or so at this point. That's because this lengthy campaign covers the entirety of the OG Naruto series, starting at the graduation from the Ninja Academy and taking us all the way to the iconic Naruto vs Sasuke showdown, separating each arc into different unlockable segments while doing so. Except, well, remember when I said 10 seconds ago that it covers the entirety of the first part of Naruto? I kind of lied. This game completely skips the entire Zabuza and Haku altercation, and I just can't understand or comprehend why. Granted, this is my first time playing a Storm game, but from everything I heard prior, this is the ideal way to play through the Naruto story. So What the hell? I get this game is already massive, but they could have at least shortened this arc to like 2 or 3 fights, and it's also only 2 additional characters, both of whom are very important to the plot. The only rationale I do have for this is that Naruto does go Demon Fox transformation, and they might have wanted to save that for Endgame, but I have no idea. This minor grievancy, however, is the only real gripe I have with the campaign, as it does a fairly good job at covering the rest of the essential battles, while providing good enough summaries prior to each stage, which is great so someone like myself can keep up with the events taking place. This was also especially helpful during later arcs like Search for Tsunade and Sasuke Retrieval, which I have seen prior but only remember the basics of the plot. Like, I had completely forgotten how and why Tsunade initially refused the Hokage position. It seemed pretty sweet to me. Or that Naruto learned the Rasengan so late in the series. For some reason, I could have sworn he used it on Gaara in the Chunin exam finals, but maybe that was just Sasuke's Chidori. Anyway, the campaign and side missions alike will divert you from your standard battle pretty often, offering up some sort of minigame, like climbing a tree and avoiding branches, or jumping from trees and avoiding branches. So I know I said I had no other major issues with the campaign, and I guess this isn't a serious problem, but dude, these minigames are way too repetitive. Granted, they do try to make these a bit less repetitive by adding in more obstacles or having to catch up with an enemy, like chasing Kimimaro through the forest. But yeah, regardless, it got really tedious. A change of pace I did love, however, was the giant battles. There are so many games that get giant bosses wrong, but not here. These are incredible, and the best I've personally seen in any anime game. These brutes, while only switching up the core gameplay slightly, deliver a new type of challenge where you must time your attacks appropriately based on the distance of them to you, truly making these big guys feel so convincingly massive. Where the gameplay switches up drastically, however, the QTEs, while not overly difficult, still proved to be much more of a challenge than I would have originally anticipated, packed with non-stop button mashing, a rapid clock, and a depleting health bar. But all in all, every instance of these was awesome, and I truly look forward to playing the next one. But to stay on the offense during them, it's best to utilize weapons and items to your advantage, a key factor in any Naruto game. And being more familiar with DBZ games, these to me take the place of Ki Blasts, but in a much more effective and less repetitive way. While I typically wouldn't overutilize Ki Blasts because it would just get boring as hell, here you can customize each weapon you equip, up to 4 of them at a time. And they're also interchangeable at any time during battle. These range from regular kunai, burst kunai, explosives, and weapons that can impact the enemy's overall stats in a negative way. You should also take advantage of these 4 slots by equipping items like heals to help mend you during tougher late game battles, chakra recoveries to make sure you're fully prepared to launch deadly jutsu at all times, and of course, stat boosts, which proved really useful when fighting against some of the tougher opponents. While you'll typically have some readily available, you can also purchase a variety of weapons along with the other items mentioned at the item shop, purchased only by this game's currency, Rio, which can be obtained by progressing through the game and completing a variety of tasks. But there's also tons of different stores here, ranging from the likes of flower shops, the bug store, a throwback store where you can purchase collectibles like Ultimate Jutsu, in-game music, and figurines, which is super fun to collect but take a long ass time to do. I was going to go for 100% collected, but damn, you need some serious dedication. You may also frequent civilians in the Leaf Village, looking to trade an item with you that's otherwise worthless, for something you might be able to put to use, like a new ingredient, among other things. While collecting all of these is a real hassle, you will again find this necessary for 100%ing the game, with the completion of the story missions only leaving you at about 25% or so. And that's only for mission percentage. Once you beat Sasuke in the final showdown, there will of course be an ending which foreshadows Shippuden. And in turn, of course, Storm 2. And post-credits, you will also receive all the transformations for Naruto, Sasuke, Rock Lee, Guy, and even Kimimaro. You best believe I used each and every one of these a massive amount of times. They're just so badass and fun to play as. You will also unlock the remainder of the characters you hadn't yet, but most should already be unlocked by this point and free to use in the game's free battle mode, post beating them or using them in their respective arcs and story mode. Even in certain situations, unlocking their alternate costumes, like late part 1 Gaara, or my favorites, all black Sasuke. The game will then prompt you to continue your journey and unlock the true ending, which requires you to not only complete every single side mission, oh that would just be far too easy. You need to beat all the bonus criteria for every single mission as well. Let me explain. While these don't pertain to every mission, namely the ones that come with natural progression, like playing the game for 15 hours, or the most tedious of which, break hundreds and hundreds of objects. That one sucks. Most of the other missions will offer 2 additional objectives upon completion of the original. These are typically both achievable in one go, as one will be complete the mission in 70 seconds, but others will require you to complete more complex criteria, like achieve a longer string of combos, maintain a certain percentage of health, chakra, or finish the enemy with an ultimate, and so much more. While some of these, as stated previously, give you the opportunity to play as villains and others that you may not frequent much in story mode, other missions frustrate the hell out of me, like finding Konohamaru and friends in an even faster time than usual. I really hate those hide and seek missions, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not get the true ending here. There is just so many collectibles and missions that you have to finish, some of which, like the late game Naruto canon time trial missions, being extremely difficult, for me at least. I mean, that would have taken way too long, at least for one video. After some research, I've found that the true ending is simply just a short cutscene of Naruto and Jiraiya walking into the woods and going to prepare for training. So if that's it, I'm good on that, bro. Still, I'm always open to ideas, so if you guys do want to see a part 2 where I get the true ending to this game, let me know in the comments below. Or if you guys want to see Storm 2 review as soon as possible, let me know that as well. But this video is getting super long, I think. So to wrap it up with a nice little bow on top, let's discuss our overall opinion on Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 1. When first starting this entry, I had high hopes and came in with very high expectations. And although it's certainly very different than I had initially anticipated, the implementation of the fairly large-sized hub world made this game stand out drastically amongst the other Naruto games that I've previously played, making the game feel like its own little world and truly gives you a taste of what jumping and running around the Leaf Village would actually feel like. Overall, the game, graphics and gameplay wise, held up amazing. I had definitely expected to see a bit more signs of aging, and although it's not quite as crisp as a PlayStation 5 title, well, it's still pretty damn good. To the point where I would have thought this game came out in 2016, at least. And after playing this, I can completely understand why this series became so popular, and as a Dragon Ball fan, I was thoroughly impressed. Not only that, but I also learned a lot more about the Naruto series than I expected to, hoping to learn even more from Storm 2. But that's it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and comment below on what you thought of the video, if you agree, disagree. Super excited to hear what you guys have to say, and as always, see you guys next time. Peace.